Hello aspirants, myself Kirtana Busa. I have appeared for interview in 2018. We at Narayana IAS Academy have come up with mains module to facilitate your answer writing. Important topics for the coming mains 2019 are picked, and all the important points required to cover the topic are provided in a simple and lucid manner. We are taking these points from multiple sources so that you will get sufficient points to use in the mains exam. We are also taking extreme care to provide good structure to the topic. Hope our efforts will benefit you. Having said this, let us move to the topic today. What a $5 trillion economy would look like. The question might not be asked directly. However, there are beautiful insights which you can use in your GS papers in the economy part as well as in the essay. So the author explains what can we expect from this $5 trillion economy and how it contributes to the ease of living. At the meeting of the Governing Council of Niti Aayog last week, Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced the target of a $5 trillion economy for India by 2024. The author says that in order to achieve this $5 trillion economy, it requires design, funding and governance. It is not that easy to achieve this $5 trillion, but it requires design, funding as well as governance. Focusing on the importance of funding, he took the example of Make in India, where the target is to achieve 16% to 25% of GDP. He says that even though Make in India is applicable to every sector, we focused on manufacturing only. However, it did not fare well. This is due to the absence of commensurate investment outlay. So the author says that there must be investment. If by whatever reason there is no investment from private sector, then it should come from the government sector. The first attempt to Make in India was in the 1940s, and then we focused on internal production as economic priority. We have achieved this very soon, and the mocking Hindu rate of growth was reversed. Then why were we successful? Because there is surge in investment led by the government, and the mobilization of resources in such a short time was testimony to the availability of three ingredients, that is the design, resources and governance. As the author has already mentioned in the beginning of the article that in order to achieve this $5 trillion economy, we need to focus on design, funding and governance. So the way back in 1940s, when there was the first attempt to Make in India, we were able to mobilize the resources to such extent because of the availability of these three ingredients, that is design, resources as well as the governance. The author, while applauding the achievement, he says that we need to remember their follies. We fail to articulate adequately or even imagine the contents of the economy we are racing towards. He says that while we were pursuing for this Make in India attempt in 1940s, we have not articulated well regarding the contents of the economy where we are racing towards. So if this is repeated now, he says that we may achieve victory, but we have not learned the lessons of the history. And he says that at that point of time, there is a need for us to keep the economy moving. This is no longer the issue because India is among the fastest growing economies. There is no requirement for us to get the economy moving in the first place. And today the economy must be evaluated in terms of how much it contributes to the ease of our living. And then he explains what would be some of the characteristics of a valuable economy. So our failure to articulate adequately regarding the contents of the economy we have raised in our first attempt to Make in India should not be repeated, and we should learn the lessons from the history. So what should be the characteristics of valuable economy? The first one is that Indians should feel empowered. And how this empowerment comes from? Education as well as health. And the first is Indians should feel empowered by the economy. And the current situation is that Indians are not feeling so, which is reflected in the very low world happiness, which is reflected in the very low position in the United Nations World Happiness Report. And happiness, according to the author, is best understood as a sense of well-being which is directly related to the empowerment, or able to undertake the functions we value. And how does this empowerment comes from? From being educated as well as experiencing good health. However, the situation in India is that the education sector is broken down and the majority are battling with almost non-existent public health infrastructure. There is a lot of out-of-pocket expenditure and the health infrastructure is not up to the mark. So the first attribute of this valuable economy would be access to quality health and education for all. And this way, we can make the people feel that they are empowered by the economy. And the second attribute of the valuable economy would be equality of opportunity. And what is the major hindrance for this equality of opportunity is income inequality, that is unequal distribution of income. And the author says that even though part of inequality is related to unequal distribution, but a part is not. Gender inequality manifested as women having less opportunity in life is not going to go away with the redistribution of income. He says that we cannot remove this gender inequality just by redistributing the income, but by equalizing capabilities across the individuals. There is a need for concerted public action via education to achieve this outcome. And the income transfers pushed relentlessly by policy entrepreneurs evade the issue altogether. And the third one is focusing on the sustainable development, that is conserving the nature. Economy, whatever its size, cannot be evaluated meaningfully without taking into consideration the natural capital. The author says that till now, by focusing on growth, eradication of poverty, the effort to conserve nature was not just ignored but treated with derision. However, this is no longer a credible political stance, as 2/3 of polluted cities are in India and it is affecting 1/5 of the population, and this air pollution shortens the life, lowers productivity and reduces the capacity to earn a living while alive. So we cannot ignore the nature while pursuing our economic goals. And the most affected section are these poorer sections. The pursuit of this unbridled growth has led to environmental depletion. As Gandhi has said, nature provides everything for one's need but not the greed. The fury of nature will be in the form of air pollution, water pollution, global warming. So there is a need to take care of the environment while we pursue our economic goals. So any improvement in the life majority would require realignment of our growth process, which is less damaging. So the growth process which we are going to pursue should be less damaging. And the author says that these may slow the growth, but the process can be configured to include more poorer groups. We may end up in the situation of less tangible goods, but in this process we will be more happier than the past. Such an economy is more valuable. This is what the author is trying to say in this entire article. There is a need for the people to make them feel empowered, as well as there is a need to provide equality of opportunities, as well as we have to take into consideration the conservation of nature while we are pursuing the economic goals. Hope this video is helpful. Thank you and all the best.